Welcome back everyone to Fall Series Korea here. We're going into match number 2 of the night. It will be SPG versus JNGK. These two teams showing some great moments, some up and down, but still seems to be some great moments with the roster actually going back and forth, as we do have indeed very big rosters from both teams. But so far I've been liking a lot. For the first match from Korea, you just have to enjoy so much from Korea all the time.
Exactly. Wow. These two teams are both, I think, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they both are at 1-0. So these are the two teams that are going, that are aiming for making that top 3 in that group, and they want to solidify their position by getting a second on week 1. Yes, SPG has been, looks like on paper they look like they're going to be the favorites. They have been around for a long time in Contenders. They also have been going against Overwatch League teams in the Overwatch League Opens and also in the Overwatch League knockouts as well. JNGK, well, they're still around. They still have been around for a long time in Contenders, but not at that caliber of the Overwatch League. However, if you just look at yesterday's matches, the JNGK definitely making a point for themselves that they should not be looked down at.
Yeah, I do like the style, especially from JNGK. I do have the Spint, one of my favorite players from Korea coming out. But on screen, we do have SPG as this squad trying a lot of different things for sure. They certainly do need a win if they want to go up to that first place spot, as they have 1-0, but with a +1. Not like JNGK, who already has +3 on that map differential. So you do want to have the first place advantage escaping out of the group. And here is JNGK, the team that we talked about.
Yeah, so in this lineup, I want to highlight 2 players. Of course, all of the players are very talented here, but Spint has been a very, very impressive Genji in that last match. And Tamper also. Tamper has a lot of history. Are you familiar with the name Meta Athena?
Yes, I am, especially towards the end season of Apex days.
Yeah, so Apex days, very, very ancient days now, and like this was pre-Owl days. So Tamper was on the roster for Meta Athena, and this is a player that has a lot of history and also a lot of experience. So it's very interesting to see how they will fare against the very strong SPG roster. And our first map is going to be Ilios, G-Clef.
I do like it, where we have we might see some more air action. Contest heavy, or that Genji just might be flying more in the air. We never know. Or some Widows. So a lot more hero pool already packed, as it is Ilios. And some more Zarya I'm expecting, if possible.
Yeah, SPG, for me, I'm really interested to see if Milgaru wants to play the reset with the ball. Yesterday, Milgaru, well, I need to do a little bit of history lesson here. Milgaru was known for being a ball one trick and being very good at that ball. However, yesterday, on the match against Panthera, Milgaru carried with that Orisa pick. But again, Ilios is actually a pretty decent map to play the ball. So I'm really curious to see which form of Milgaru we're going to see on Ilios today. And for JNGK, I think they could be the Zarya, like they're hovering right now. That's what I want to see here. Milgaru with that ball, teasing the ball. Of course, there is some time to swap, but I would definitely like to see that signature pick on the ball on the side of SPG here.
So when we talk about Wrecking Ball one trick, I always do worry. But at this level, at Milgaru's level of Wrecking Ball, not too much to worry about.
Well, I mean, Milgaru justifies like being a ball one trick. He's that
see that
good.
ball just going alone, straight on. No one else to cover him.
I think this is actually a very decent response to the Zarya Genji composition, because remember, JNGK, the Zarya comp what Zarya comp is all about is sending the Genji to harass. But who is there to harass?
Yeah.
Okay.
She already dead. Argon, ooh, that was a close fight between the two. Spin does win at the end of the day, along with Milgaru and JNGK finally points. Oh, hold on.
No, there's still that possibility to contest. Yes, Milgaru does have to. Ooh, okay. There is that Milgar is there to contest. Oh, taking a lot of damage from that Zarya. So JNGK takes our first cap, but pressure is down. So that means Milgaru and SPG will have that chance to recontest and maybe make that flip happen.
Take the first point, but lose that second fight potentially, as you're missing a tank for the longest time. And it takes forever. Might actually have to send the Lucio to... Oh, never mind. As JNGK actually keeps on losing members one by one. Not a good sign.
Remember, so the whole point about the Zarya Genji comp is about, like I said, I said at the start of the map, to send Genji in and harass, and not just harass. So Genji has two jobs: getting energy for the Zarya and taking out the backline of SPG. Yes, maybe I was wrong about there's nobody to harass because there is the Illari, there is the Bastion, and there is the Baptiste. However, the second job of getting energy for Zarya doesn't mean that much because remember, Zarya is effective when the high energy Zarya is very effective against Teresa because they're just, you know, standing in front of each other. But Milgar's not gonna be there. Milgar's not gonna be in front of Zarya, so the high energy Zarya is not gonna be as effective.
Oh, artillery actually getting one here as much of the aggro was pulled down by the wrecking ball again. SPG, I guess the game plan is to keep that Bastion alive for the sports, and Tracer, oh, you do on your own, but here is Spin. The Genji that has been doing quite a lot of work already.
That's a good stall, yes? JNGK wins that fight, but number one, that was a very expensive fight. That was 3 key ultimates used on the side of JNGK. There was the Dragon Blade, there was the Graviton Surge, there was also the Sound Barrier, and SPG actually stalled long enough for them to be in a very advantageous position. So if SPG manages to win just one more fight here, they might be able to pressure JNGK into final fight territory.
Yeah, without temper. Oh, but Archie! Okay, looks for some more.
No, but the kill feed actually kind of fooled us here because that was just the pylon and that immortality field, so no casualties on the side of SPG.
Yeah, not yet. We did see one more kill happening from pressure.
Argon takes that spin. That's a very important kill for SPG here.
Trying to crawl and strike from the side. Not enough damage. Has to recall all the way back. Here's Archie. Bastion Ward. And damage just not enough as he has to find his own heal.
Uchan takes that pressure, so that is going to be the flip for SPG. JNGK has to move fast, or it's going to be they have to make desperation touches just to keep this round alive.
Still JNGK.
Oh, that's a good stagger on the side of SPG. And also, that's a Lucio, one of the members that have to touch. Now it's going to be Spin on the Genji that have to do the desperation touch. But can he be even alive?
That'll be the real question, 1%. And some contest, but can they really keep it up? With Wrecking Ball just blocking a path. One joining, there's a Captain Sun.
JNGK has to press absolutely everything just to stay alive on that point.
Down.
And even if they win this fight, this is going to be very, very difficult for the upcoming fights. Because, oh wait, they saved the Dragon Blade?
They did, and yeah, Surge is still there. The Sombra actually did quite a lot of work. But SPG still holding 3 big ultimates, so we'll see how this Genji is going to either destroy the Bastion backline or some more minefield with the pulse bomb from SPG.
Okay, so that was a very good fight on the side of JNGK. Yes, SPG has few ultimates coming, but
early blade, respect, and extra kills.
Yes, the flip was there, but the fight is already at the side of JNGK's favor, so this is just, yes, very clever for SPG to deny the overtime coming. So, yes, they have one more chance, but just because they flipped the point, because if they didn't, that would have been well over in favor of JNGK. I think they still have one more chance. The overtime is triggered.
Can't do the mine, was hacked. Great catch by Sombra.
Yes, the mine is there, but the mine is only so effective.
Oh, the guy with the surge is so huge! Catches everyone around the pillar!
That was a huge pulse bomb for Argon! They still need to touch.
Can Argon make it work? Okay, Jin. GK. Argon.
Pressure is there. So that is a lot of damage on Argon. And SPG is unable to touch. What a fight. What a comeback from JNGK. I thought this map was over. I thought this round was already over.
That has to be one of the cleaner comeback of the entire... Well, that was actually very impressive from JNGK. Sombra switch was so incredible. Did so much work. It seemed like the blade did most of the damage, but it's actually what was off screen. The Sombra head delaying the minefield for such a long time actually delayed the key moments of SPG striking back into the point.
Yeah, that was really important as well, but I think what was really crucial on that fight was, remember, when SPG was on control of the point and had 70%, JNGK winning that fight without using the Dragon Blade and the Graviton Surge was what was really, really crucial for turning things around, because SPG had the mines at that point, and they still won without using a lot of resources.
Yeah, that's true. And the huge Graviton Surge was certainly a big sauce. What they needed on top here, SPG. Now, Milgaru on the Diva.
Okay, definitely seeing a lot of new colors for Milgaru here, which is interesting to see. RK taking down Argon, so this is going to be early advantage for JNGK.
Still controlling that momentum. Sliding that into the second. KSJ not really having the best time.
Ooh. That was a good Bionade by Tamper. And okay, follow up by RK on KSJ. So stalling a little bit more and that much extra progress on the point for JNGK. Yes, Spint does get anti-needed. However, it looks like it's not gonna stop him from killing all around. Backline gone for the side of SPG, and yet again, progress delayed for the side of SPG here.
Oh man, oh no, we had our high, spotlight basically fixed on Spin even since the open tournament. And this guy delivers. And Genji is a hero that cannot be stopped sometimes.
So SPG makes wholesale swaps for the side to a Winston dive composition, and Lee Soo-min just has to use the nano just to keep Uchan alive. Which is actually pretty worth.
Yeah, worth, and also was able to do some more extra damage. That's a bomb that will kill.
Well, I mean, to be honest, that's not going to be as much damage because they had to reset anyways. Yes, they're going to be delayed a little bit, a few seconds further, but I think that's, like, if Spit died with using that Dragon Blade, that would have been a disaster for JNGK, but however, they have to reset anyways, and Spint, they are going to look at that Nano Blade online here.
Now SPG has to find a way to come back after this return.
There is that Nano Blade! Uchan down, 1, 2!
You do not want to be in the sight of Spit at that moment.
Argon responds with RK. However, it is still a 4v3. Oh, good nade on Argon here, because that was really important, because Argon was the one that SPG probably wanted to send for that recontest, but being threatened with that Bionade meant that there was nobody to touch, and there is that double support ultimate used by SPG. They desperately want that flip here.
Everything used on the point here.
Oh, that's
on top.
Good Graviton Surge by pressure.
It's pretty good from JNGK, but they can't really keep
but
this.
Also a good answer by SPG here.
You didn't stall that much time. And survive?
Spin?
And win? No way. That this just happened.
Oh dear, that's gonna be a flip. That means this is going to be...
No way.
Wait, can they even touch?
SPG used that much and was not able to pull out a win.
No, they can't! Oh, goodness.
And it's a 1-0 map score.
Oh my god, what a pacey map from... Wow, that was really...
I guess when you have that much strong of a Genji to just go into opponent's face like that. I guess Zarya works so much better.
Yeah, so remember what we said at the start of the day, Genji is pivotal on this meta because yes, you send your Genji, whether it's a Winston Genji or whether it's paired with the Zarya Genji, you have to send your Genji, and the Genji's job with the Zarya is that number one, with the barriers, the Genji earns energy for Zarya to win that frontline fight. And not only that, if Genji can actually make a few picks, then that makes life so easier for the ally hit scan to win the fight. And Spint right now is on fire.
And oftentimes it cannot be stopped, and SPD tried to stop it with some Nano Winston, but even that was not enough. Let's see what they come up with next as we go into map number 2 after this short break, guys. Stay hydrated. And welcome back, everyone. Hope you got some H2O within that 3-minute break as we go into our second map here. JNGK is leading 1-0, big time in the map score, but SPG certainly had their brighter moments. It seems like we're continuing with the storyline today as is Genji Zarya powerful enough in the right hands, or is it just not when you are up against a very nice comp?
I just can't erase that feeling that JNGK is playing Zarya Genji they're kind of like displaying, hey, this is how Zarya Genji should be played. And it really revolves around how strong your Genji player is. And Spint right now, I'm very careful to say he's at the pinnacle of Genji play right now, but he's definitely showing that he's worth the resources that is being invested into him, because that is a lot of, if you play the Zarya Genji comp, that is a lot of resources invested in that Genji, because potentially 2 barriers, maybe?
Yeah, Nano in the bubble all the time.
Well, even 2 bubbles, potentially 2 bubbles as well. So that's a lot of resources. If Genji does not reap the results, then they probably don't the worst case scenario is that Genji, even with that bubble, they die. And Zarya doesn't have a lot of energy, and there's no protection for the backline. That's kind of the worst case scenario. But right now, JNGK is showing the best case scenario where Zarya is on high energy because Genji is attracting a lot of aggro, and the Spence Genji is forcing SPG into a lose-lose situation where they either have to die to the Genji or have to try killing the Genji and feeding Zarya a lot of energy.
Well, that's a lot of talk of Genji because they're certainly delivering. They did in Ilios, but it's the next maps from the losing team. As the chat was always saying, well, next map better be a ball map, as Milgaru is going to have some fun time in King's Row. We'll see if they can come back big time, because it seems like right now this comp is just working so solid for JNGK.
Well, King's Row is a very, very reasonable choice. This is, I believe, the first time in Fall Series Korea that we're going to see King's Row. We've seen a dominant preference for Midtown for a lot of teams in Contenders Korea. However, I think this is a very reasonable choice because JNGK, SPG know that it's going to be because JNGK has a preference for going Zarya, and Zarya does not have a lot of influence on high ground. And I think this really shows in that why JNGK wants to do defense first, because on defense they can take the long route to taking the Zarya on the high ground, but on the attack it's going to be very difficult for Zarya to have any influence on the high ground. And I think SPG is just meant to the meaning of the map pick was precisely that.
Yeah, quick teleport with the Symmetra all the way on top, destroying the placement of JNGK, flipping the sides eventually. And there's a drop.
So SPG is pulling the London Spitfire strat, and they're using the Symmetra TP very, very well. And
that's first point.
Yeah, I think that's already first point.
With the first teleport up on top, they just made JNGK this position, the entire team, in the second TP onto the trophy, that was basically it. As you can see with the team comp, they're just gathered all around with Symmetra, Meg, Reinhardt.
A really smart play from SPG here. I don't think that JNGK was expecting Milgaru to play the Reinhardt. Remember, this player, even in the Owl Opens and Owl Knockouts, did not play a bunch of heroes. And definitely, I don't think they were expecting Reinhardt on the menu. And Reinhardt, like, even on a comp perspective, is traditionally very strong against the Zarya.
Here's the blade. Early on, Spins gets one.
I think it's okay.
Through.
Like, at this point, they just give up the fight and they just don't use any more resources and they regroup.
Yeah, that was pretty nice timing, I would say, because SPG did lose. No, JNGK actually did lose a member from Maze Icicle, I believe, on the headshot. And delaying the spot. This could be a choke point.
Yeah, so this is a really big choke point that the defense side wants to take advantage of.
Early window.
There you go.
And the barrier.
That's that sound barrier that they've been saving. So, yes, they have a means to fight back.
So, RK. Lock on and Nana on pressure.
JNGK really wants to keep SPG on that choke point here. But despite their best efforts, SPG is they're making progress. Yes, Uchan falls maybe, so that's the stabilizing point that JNGK wants.
Yeah, SPG, I think they wanted to push a little more, but yeah, the entire team doing a lot of work.
Yes, JNGK managed to stabilize. However, I do think that SPG still feels good about this because they made it through the initial choke point. Yes, it's still a choke point, but it's not. The payload is not inside the tunnel. And also, SPG has very, very key ultimates here in the form of Blizzard and the Earth Shatter. And I don't think JNGK has any means of answering that.
Yeah, there was a funny moment where you're intentionally taking more damage to get the nano on faster from mana to get the heals.
I mean, but at 52%, like that's a lot. Yeah. That's going to be a lot more. You can need a lot more.
Because back then it was about 30% when Genji was actually taking damage. So SPG continuing to push. Now there's a way wall.
Good wall. That forced out one of the barriers here, and of course, like SPG is going to be on the counter. Nice shatter! That was a haughty great shatter. Yes, Spin, good job of deflecting any kind of melee damage. Oh my god, good
better for JNGK. That could have led to a lot more kills, but instead...
No, this was... The Spin actually single-handedly carried the fight here because not only the Dragon Blade picked up a few kills, but after that shatter, Spin was right in front of Milgaru to deny any sort of damage because remember, the deflect not only really, like namesake, deflects any projectiles, but it also denies the melee damage. So the hammer swings from Milgaru did not lead to any kills. So even though that was a huge shatter, I did say haughty great shatter, but the follow-up damage was not there. So that gave the JNGK the opening to win that fight. And now, look at the ultimates here.
Yep.
Good wall to deny a lot of follow-up damage.
Everything had to be used from SPG. Barrier up, but pressure's already down. Okay, Nano Genji, no blade. Still RK doing some work, but the photo barrier, it deletes so much damage coming up from JNGK.
This fight's getting a little wacky here because, okay, a lot of action here. Let me kind of streamline it for you. Good Graviton Surge by pressure, good wall from Although. And yes, there were a few kills on the side of JNGK, but all those wall made sure that JNGK had to invest a few more ultimates to make sure that they win the fight. And that was good enough of a window for SPG to fight back and make that cap happen. And now it's going to be SPG's turn. Of course, yes, if Spin can make that play worth it.
Put all the way up. You land a few more, okay? Yeah, that's how you make things work. And oftentimes, Spin is coming up clutch.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is that SPG is approaching a lot of ultimates, and JNGK only had that Dragon Blade. So unless Spin could make a lot of a difference, a major difference with that Dragon Blade, SPG, time was on SPG side, but Spin just denies the odds and makes the impossible happen.
And even more, SPD continuing to push with Blizzard. Symmetra catching 2 more kills. And the payload is actually so far away that they're actually not punching.
Yeah, a few kills here. I think JNGK still has a 1 or 2 more chances to contest, and they will be having that nano boost. So I think that the main target of that nano boost is going to be the Genji or the Zarya, depending on how much energy the Zarya has. But the crucial part is going to be whether this run Earth Shatter is going to be there.
Very on time.
Sound barrier to save pressure, but will pressure is still very low. Will pressure be able to survive? Off dies instead. Pressure is also very low. And low health bars all across the board for JNGK, SPG. Yes, 4 members.
Maybe.
The sound barrier is there for extra.
There's a gravity surge, but maybe too much used to keep that pressure alive, and SPG does touch. The round is over. There's that 3-pointer. Pressure was alive, but way too much use just to keep him alive.
Despite Spin's best efforts and heroics, JNGK makes this happen, and full caps King's Row, which is actually pretty hard to do. And yes, despite having less than a minute on the time bank, well, it's very impressive. Oh, look at this. This is what I've been saying. Denying a lot of damage with that deflect and then following up with the Dragon Blade. Wow, Spin, remember, this is a player born in 2007.
People were born in 2007?
Yes. 2007.
They can play Overwatch?
Means that he's 16. He's 15 right now because it isn't his birthday. His birthday's in December. Still, I still want to credit SPG. Like I said, despite Spin's best efforts, I think it was a good try. It was a good effort and a good compositional decision to play the Reinhardt. And yes, it looks like it seems like Spin kind of was the hero of the day, but in the end, SPG got what they came for and got in full cap 3 points. And JNGK, okay, I think SPG would probably expect JNGK, to play the Zarya, and here is why SPG picked King's Row, because Zarya on attack without the Symmetra lacks the vertical mobility, and SPG needs to take full advantage of this.
And they will, with some draw over with Milgaru all the way in the back, forcing them to be near the telephone booth. And JNGK trying to follow up with the rotation, but SPG now going back and forward, trying to keep Fashion alive. Doesn't manage to survive.
So off is down, Arc is down.
Uchan. Oh man, that's a team wipe.
So I think this is a very comp difference here, because remember, Zarya on attack, especially on King's Row, does not have access, or rather have very limited access to the high ground, like I've been mentioning all map. And so the only way that JNGK can flush the defense from SPG on the high ground is by sending the Genji and the Lucio as well, and giving them the barriers to do that. However, with the entire defense and also the Ball and Mei, it's very difficult for the Genji, even with the Zarya barrier, to make any meaningful damage to the defense of the SPG side. So this is, I think, they're definitely showing why they wanted to play King's Row here.
Some great catch happening from Milgaru on that ball. As those drivers can only hit so many, but oftentimes he's been landing it and grabbing some good old charges. Now here's JNGK back on their feet. Oh, loses pressure immediately when the blade happens. Here is now. Oh.
Yes, Spin takes down Ucha. Oh, Luciman's down, 8's down as well. So yes, JNGK does lose pressure. However, they might be able to have that window of opportunity to actually cap that point.
Forces out the wall.
Milgaru. Hello?
And okay, let's come just in time, but how many?
No!
Can they make it work? Okay, actually, Grafton surges out of them. Yeah, the mine was used at the last second.
Wait a second. Wait. All those wall, I think although kind of misclicked that wall over there because I think they tried to kind of divide. Well, the initial attempt was trying to divide JNGK and then slam with the ball and then follow up with the mines. But I think there was a little bit of a misclick on the side of all the there, so it actually kind of hindered Milgaru's progress into the point. But what's done is done, and SPG still has few key ultimates. JNGK, but the problem is that the side of JNGK also has some tools to answer as well, namely the Graviton Surge and the Overclock. But Tamper falls first. JNGK probably does not want to invest any more ults here.
As they would love to have continuous push here. Oh, but SPG responding okay, not really losing too many. There's a Captain Sun, Wuchan in the air.
Oh, okay. That was the detonation damage taking out too. Pressure falling down as well. Wuchan just cosplaying as a DPS player there, and well, taking 3 members, meaning that JNGK has to reset. But again, if you look at the ultimates here, now it's going to be JNGK's turn. The question is, do they want to go with the Graviton Surge, or do they want to wait for the Nano Boost and go with the Nano Blade?
We have a secondary option. The ultimate's ready to go, but Spint.
Off is gone, and pressure's gone. And also, do you know what's gone, Cliff? The Graviton Surge is gone. Yes. So the JNGK is actually forced to go with the Nano Blade here. That's going to be the only thing that's left, only tool that's left for JNGK to make a chance at making progress on the payload. However, the difference here for SPG is that SPG has the Terra Surge. Oh, Spit goes down. This means a few more seconds now. Who says Milgaru is no longer a ball one trick? He is a great tank. Oh, the Nano Surge, the Nano the Nano Boost goes to pressure.
Yeah, now I do realize from a minute ago that Milgaru was on that Orisa and has been having a great moment. Picking up most of the kills from the previous fight, and here is the response though. JNGK,
oh man, Milgaru, how do you make those spears land?
He's attached to the opponent.
Spin wants to be the hero here, and he actually makes it happen.
And finally, this payload was pushed all the way back because SPG pushed them so far for such a long time.
So JNGK had yes, they won, but it was a very expensive win for them. So they have the rally incoming, they have the overclock incoming as well, but SPG has the higher value ults here. So SPG definitely has time to contest, and they will be able to use the Terra Surge and the Blizzard. And Spin's going to be down, so maybe they don't even need to use these ultimates, and they probably won't. And JNGK, I think the best option for them right now is for Arcade to just use the overclock next turn and try to make a pick.
Didn't really fully get to 100%, but it will be on when there's that next team fight.
Remember, there's only 22 seconds left on the clock, so any stagger kills may be very, very
yeah, JNGK needs to push all the way from now on, even after touching that for the extra time. They're still very far away. Oh, bubble already.
Uchan down.
Overclock.
So this may be an opportunity. But can they touch?
Yes,
can they touch? Oh, okay. Spin touch it. I touched. Yeah, I'm sorry. My English is failing here.
Yeah, Genji for the save.
But remember,
the rest of the team
SPG can still. I think they can still contest at the very end of that point, and they have 4 ultimates. They have very good zoning ultimates as well.
But one
Milgaru is there! Milgaru!
The
Terra Surge!
To keep the point alive, and there's a lot of members dead. No one else to touch! SPG takes map number 2. 1-1 a tie now.
Wow. Okay. I need some time to kind of calm down here because what an oh my god, my words are failing because okay, let me kind of break down that last fight here. I think SPG did not know. Oh no, rather JNGK did not know where Milgaru was, and Milgaru
Not exactly.
Milgaru approached and used the Terror Surge, and also Pressure answered with the Graviton Surge as well, but there weren't any follow-up damage because the damage was done. Milgaru, with that ultimate was, yeah, I don't think there was any follow-up damage, and then after that, yes, JNGK did want to. They did have the members, but I don't think there were anyone close or had the mobility to touch the point.
Yeah, I don't exactly recall the members of SPG actually, but JNGK, there was a couple of members still stuck on the alleyway. So maybe we'll have to get to see that replay later on, but that's going to be it for map number 2, guys. We'll take a short one, and when we come back, we'll talk more about that match and what happened. All right, welcome back, everyone, and it seems like Unknown has found peace.
I needed that moment. I really needed that moment.
We did not talk a single word during that 3-minute break because I knew this guy needed a break for sure to process everything with a CPU.
Yeah.
How was it?
My 31-year-old CPU needed a little bit of rest after that. But, oh man, what a last-minute fight by JNGK here. Oh, well, and yeah, SPG won, and it's still very hard to process here. Yes, it looks like SPG and Milgaru was saying like, hey, it's spent your win condition. My win condition is Milgaru, and that sneak over and that Terror Surge was beautiful.
Yeah, certainly when you are playing Orisa, sometimes you don't know what's exactly happening. Of course, all these guys know exactly what's happening, but that Terror Surge is such a powerful ultimate, especially when the time's ticking down. You just have to press it and see what happens. And at those times, it just works perfectly to keep everyone outside, not touching that payload. But still, I think there were a lot of moments where JNGK could have touched, but I think they had too much pressure on Spint at that moment.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be. I think the key issue for JNGK is not gonna get mental boomed because, man, I can't necessarily say that I'm the most I'm the most mentally fortified gamer here, but even just watching here, I would have been devastated by that. But now we're going to Survasa. JNGK definitely wants to bounce back and start a lead here. I don't think there's going to be any kind of drastic changes to the composition. I think JNGK still would be pretty confident, and hey, that was like King's Row was pretty much also King's Row, like in essence, like I mentioned at the start of the map, it's really kind of difficult for a Zarya comp, but now that's going to be Survasa. They can still they'll still be confident that they can still win.
Yeah, for SPD now, Argon back in. Servaldo. And both teams having 1-0 score on Flashpoint so far, but one team has to lose. So here's again Milgaru trying to be sneaky, but on Flashpoint it's slightly harder.
Oh,
Arke
taken down by Milgaru. That Sombra pick was specifically to target Milgaru and the ball here.
Yep.
But remember, usually the ball is very weak against the Sombra. However, Milgaru just single-handedly taking down that Sombra means how much Milgaru is very proficient on that ball. And that was really crucial because if Milgaru was at least hindered or taken down, this first fight might have been gone to the way of JNGK, but SPG, by taking down Arky first, they had this natural numbers advantage, and they have the advantage on point here.
Also, just being off to the side has full trust of the teammates, and again, Spint does go down very early during the team fight here, off very low, eventually picked down by Argon. Argon again. Looks back toward the side, finds no one else, but there is that Zarya. He has to recall. Pressure, keeping himself alive in the room.
Very high energy for Zarya, so that's going to be a threat. However, RK and Tamper are down, so the only damage is going to be the pressure, but pressure is also down. And with 75%, maybe JNGK has to make a decision of whether they want to make a desperation touch or just give up the first point.
With Lucio and a lot coming online, I think realistically you want to fight for the second? As you do not have the EMP yet. Okay.
Maybe RK could touch, but is it really worth it?
No,
I decides no, and actually that is probably going to be the smarter choice here. JNGK with key ultimates coming, maybe 4, 5 ultimates incoming.
We'll basically have all 10 coming online real soon. Notice the position of Milgaru here again.
Milgaru just wants to break camp here.
Oh, everything ult! Everything pointed at the right direction.
Wait, did JNGK just use 5 ults?
Yeah, 5 ults at the same time. Everyone just said now, and everyone pressed their big button at the same time.
Okay, SPG, SPG is like, okay, you use 5 ults, we'll give you that point. I mean, yes, 5 ults, you're overpaying for it. I'll just give you that point.
That had to be timed because I did not blink, and all 5 ultimates came online at the same time.
But the problem for JNGK is that yes, they used 5 ults, yes, they won that fight, but they capped the point so late that they're only at 19%, and to make things worse, they backcapped. So SPG backcapped the point, and they're actually almost par at progress here. Next fight, SPG uses their ultimates. Wow, and if SPG wins, that's going to be disastrous for JNGK here.
Yeah, JNGK, not bad in terms of DPS. Plus Kiriko already up to 50%. Now SPG needs
Artillery
to
there.
do it now, as the ultimates will be gained soon enough for JNGK. Okay, not much work. Still having the mine.
Oh, and you do not want to fire on a deflecting Genji there.
Blue channel's going down. Not a great time for SPG. Looks like the 5 ultimate power was too much of a spirit bomb on SPG's head.
Hey, JNGK says, hey, we pressed 5 ults, so it was worth it because you're not going to take advantage of us not having ults, and that's going to be the case. And the point is going to be equalized. JNGK will be. Oh, the overtime is triggered with a touch. However, it does not look that
the mines already.
It does not look like SPG is in a position to win this fight.
1-2 contest and actually flip the point. Both hacked. EMP already. And still survive.
Yes, pressure is down. Oh, spin is down too. Maybe they can actually make this flip happen. But to be honest, is it really worth it?
If they can grab the point eventually, yes, but unless that happens, we'll see. So we still do have Sombra here. And the barrier, enough to keep the entire team alive.
So JNGK is also investing a lot of ultimates. They want to cap this point. And
of course, you do have 99%. Okay, hacked. Milgaru still alive. Point flip to SPG.
The big question is, do they want to invest big ultimates like the Dragon Blade and the Graviton Surge here? They need this for the next point.
Next set of questions, Luchan, great. Graviton Surge, grabbing a lot of them. But will they follow with the kills? Not as many as you thought. And SPG is still keeping the point.
Still, Zarya is at 100 energy. It's going to be a big DPS threat on the side for JNGK. However, they are not making those kills happen. So SPG is going to be at full strength yet again.
Seeing all that, did not get the blade. Mine grabbing more. Milgaru, trust the ball. And the turning is happening from 14% to 99%. There's going to be matching. And SPG actually stealing the ball, stealing, not the ball, the point away.
Wow, this is really impressive stuff from SPG because usually you would think that SPG would just want to give up and look for the next fight, but they actually invested and committed for that overtime touch from Argon, and they not only just baited out ultimates from the side of JNGK, they won that fight, and they took the point as well. It seemed almost impossible.
JNGK needs all 5 ults again. They need that miracle press of 5 volts.
Good EMP. Can they be able to follow? No, actually. Who cares if you're hacked if it can still shoot? And they shoot JNGK away from that point. And wow, what a performance for an SPG so far.
Overwatch is an FPS for a reason. You need to hit better on your target. JNGK suddenly, especially because of off position Zarya. Yeah, JNGK is actually failing a lot, and that's coming from this ball.
A lot of this on Spin's shoulders now with that Dragon Blade. This needs to worth it. Spin very low, taken down. And SPG, I think, should be able to stall this a little bit more. Off does have that sound barrier, and also Tamper has that Casino Rush. But without Spin, will they be able to? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Some more work has been done with Archie and RK. Early bash on down meant that less of a DPS for SPG to put out at the moment.
I think both teams are trying to tease me here because usually I'm usually saying about how on normal circumstances how a fight should go, and they're defying expectations every turn.
Early use. With barrier and Kiriko all together. A lot of what's coming from Jin. Okay, but is it really worth it when SPG is hiding away from you? I guess so. When Spin can continue to deliver the kills. Well, did the ultimates even matter at this point if Spin actually had this solo moment?
SPG has Milkara alive, so maybe Milkara, after taking that health pack, will be able to... No, okay, actually they're going to just regroup for the next fight. Wow, what? Well, I can't even...
Yeah, you can't process.
I can't even process this correctly because there's so many action going around. Yes, RK is approaching the EMP. This is going to be the pivotal point.
Okay, jumping in. Test finds there's no way of coming into the point and wait, right next to the point.
Spin with the Dragon Blade. However, JNGK is only has a few members. I think this is going to be the flip.
Another flip and a 3-0? Is that what SPG wanted all this long?
Maybe JNGK can have a touch and this is good, but this is definitely going to be last fight territory. Pressure knows this and is going to change swap over to Doofus for extra mobility to touch. However, Milkaru may be able to push them away from the point.
Pressure here with
99?
No, could that touch? Oh man, SPG!
That is gotta hurt! Oh my goodness! Wow, I'm just stunned here because remember, there are so many things that happen on this map. Remember 5 ults? And usually if you use 5 ults to win a single fight, then the next fight, then you don't have any future. You commit, you spend everything that you have on the present without the future. No, like, you win first, think about ults later. But however, they somehow make it work. They take that point, and I just give up.
Man, I need some H2O here. As that was very close, but SPG coming back with less ultimates. And first of all, now I go back and remember the chat saying always trust the ball going into flashpoint. And I would say always trust Milgaru on that ball.
Yeah, I mean, Milgaru showed a lot of impressive performances on other heroes as well, like I mentioned. But this player was predominantly known as the ball one trick and showing that ball is still his best hero.
Now we'll see if that's still possible because we're going into map number 4 and that will be push. We'll be right back.
Okay, I rebooted. I needed that. Oh my god.
Thanks for coming back alive.
Okay, King's Row is something, Survasa, oh my goodness. Like, we had so many things that wouldn't normally happen. We had 5 ults just to win a point. A recontest that, to be honest, that a lot of teams wouldn't have even attempted, and which actually paid off. And an insane last point fight as well. And that Doofus swap to contest, but never got to be. Wow, that was. I needed a lot of time.
Yes, some great flashpoint, I gotta say, for today. And the reason why we have flashpoint happening every single match, there is a specific reason why it has to be map number 3, because we just have to get there, even if it's a 3003. And now, since that unknown is alive, we're going back to Colosseo. First push map of the day. Exciting, of course, a pick from JNGK. They would love to have some more push with Genji. I think this is certainly the map where they can use a lot more Zarya for that cover.
Yeah, definitely so, because I think this is also a map that makes sense for JNGK, especially if they want to play the Zarya, because especially before the corners, they have like a very straight line, so it's easier to play the Zarya. Also, it's also very easy for Spin to either make a choice to be in the front lines just with the Zarya barrier, or make a flank. So there's 2 different kinds of ways Spin can approach this as the Zarya here. So a good choice on this. I think it's a good choice, but it's also very up to execution, because I think that after King's Row, JNGK is a little bit kind of shaky inside of Metal Fortitude, and SPG showing why they are, I guess, should be favorites, that they have that experience in the Overwatch League. They have that experience on a lot of their players, like Lee Soo-min. Like, we haven't mentioned this player, but this player has been on the this player has been on the Dynasty. They have been on O2 Blast, arguably the best team to have been ever in Contenders. Of course, O2 Blast is not going to be participating on this season of Contenders. However, this player has a lot of history, and they're just kind of like showing why they were having those kind of, I guess, name value.
Yeah, that's why it is somewhat more expected for SPG to certainly do come up with those clutch wins and to come back and flip those points. But Symmetric time teleports right in, and here's Batch and aid. Well, actually, off doing a good amount of work on the other side. Lucio getting a kill.
So off getting a answer kill onto Uchan. Argon down means that JNGK will be having that upper hand in that first fight. It was very close, mind you, because pressure was very, very low, and with only the Kiriko to heal, it was a very... It could have been anyone's game, to be honest, but only 7 meters on progress on the side of JNGK means that this next fight can be on anyone's favor. And oh, that was a good shot on Spin with the help of that amplification matrix. That was a very early amp matrix here.
Yeah, quick use. The moment I think it was available, Lisa just popped it right away, knowing that the outburst could be more from JNGK. This Monica has been having a good time on top, finally been found by Aid. Fashion another headshot, and some more extra push. Temper, press the button.
Oh, JNGK, they're committing a lot of ultimates here, and actually, okay, they made it happen, so it was definitely worth, and I think good this economy from the side of JNGK, because even though if they use 2 ultimates, they have 3 major ultimates online, and also they have one of those is the sound barrier. So even if SPG wants to make any sort of regression, they can answer with the sound barrier. Aid wants to zone out JNGK with the artillery, however, does not find any value. Spent with the spent with the Dragon Blade, and is answered with the Uchan's sound barrier.
But that was basically wasted. No blade happening with SPG. All gathered up together. Had to climb over the wall early on. And can do somewhat more with the overclock.
Spin down. So that's a lot of momentum lost for the side of JNGK.
Put the barrier up. And that's enough for SPG to continue on their momentum and going back to their own push.
Yeah, so JNGK had a few good moments, but in the end, they didn't make as much progress as they wanted to make. So only 14 more meters for SPG to match the progress of JNGK. And not only that, Lee Soo-min has already have that amp matrix up again. And remember what the last time Lee Soo-min used the amp matrix, Spit fell. So that's going to be a big threat on the side of SPG here.
As they will start their own push now. Test 8 putting out.
But Spit
taking
taking down SPG. Spit does not give a damn about how SPG have their ultimates. He's just wrecking ham. And before SPG gets to match the progress of JNGK, they have another chance of potentially capping first point.
Yeah, Migaru now switching over to Reinhardt. Will be looking for that teleport even more, but remind you guys again, this is more of a wide map. With this work against a team comp like JNGK, who are going to be very spreaded apart.
Yeah, so Milgar, I guess the logic here is going to be they want to do what they did on Kings Row, right? But it's like you said, G-Clip, this map's a little bit different from what Kings Row, because Kings Row had a lot of alleys.
Graviton Surge?
Graviton Surge, but is there any follow-up?
No follow-up, no kills. There's one, but it's way too late. And this Blade immediately taken down.
Oh, that is just two ults thrown out the toilet here. And SPG, oh wait, off wants to commit, but pressure is taken down, so it does not have any value. That is actually 3 ults depleted by the side of JNGK. Yes, SPG Milgaru falls, so no progress, no robot progress from the side of SPG just yet, and actually JNGK is the one to push.
Yeah, surprisingly, as JNGK had to use a lot of ultimates, will be hurting them regardless with the after fight, because SPG holding 4 ults at the moment.
I think it was really pivotal for JNGK to kind of hold that ult a little bit, hold that robot a little bit, because they can fight on this before this corner, which is going to be really important. But it doesn't matter if 8 takes down everyone. Yes, Spin takes down the immortality field, but Spin at the cost of his life, and SPG wins a fight without using any key ultimates. Yes, this sim doesn't have an ultimate, but it's 4 ultimates on the side of SPG, and no ultimates at all for JNGK.
Delivery aid. Doesn't have early catches. No successful hit leading into kill yet, but he's the one found.
It is in trouble.
Yeah, wanted to hide in the corner.
So the question now is, does SPG want to commit anywhere else?
Zoom in.
They don't need to. They took down 2, and SPG already has the lead, and they want to cap this point.
Keeps on pushing. There is that
shatter was huge, and the pin there on pressure makes sure that there's no resistance whatsoever. 99% on the Graviton Surge, but they have to use it for the next fight instead of this one.
I think that was totally worth it for the pushing points, and they hit the first big mark. And JNGK might be thinking, okay, is it time for ultimate? Ready to go.
They stumble. JNGK opens with
Graviton Surge, grabbing a few.
3 ultimates. Will JNGK use the 4th ultimate again?
Oh, but too many barriers from SPG. Okay, finally the blade comes out to turn things around. But heavily spent on both sides. Oh, this is Lucio. Just doing some dances.
Okay, so if we wrap this fight, yes, it was an expensive fight for JNGK, but SPG also used 2 ultimates of their own. So, to be honest, JNGK would be pretty happy with this fight, but the fact that SPG not only capped, but also made more progress means that JNGK has a long way to go. And remember, G-Club, it's only 2 minutes remaining. So this, like, JNGK has to win 2-3 fights in a row in order for them to hope for a lead.
It'll take some time, and JNGK to hit that, make a miracle run, if it's possible. He's still keeping up with the Symmetric Teleport comp, but destroyed with Argon dead, and overclock early on.
Ooh, good shots from RK here.
SPG wants to have some regroup time now with Wuchan dead. That's the entire team gone now on the ground. JNGK finally retrieving on their own push. First they need to hit the point, plus needs about, let's do math, about 30 more meters within 2 minutes.
Remember, after the cap, you need to wait 7 or 8 seconds if my knowledge is correct. So SPG has a chance to recontest, but Spin has that Dragon Blade, needs to make this work. Spin very low, 45.
No extra kill off the rails, but again, the other side was able to accomplish so much more. So eventually they will hit the mark.
Props to Spin because he took out all the aggro from SPG so that RK could have make all the kills. Yes, maybe not as flashy as an ult for as a Dragon Blade. However, taking but let's talk about this first.
Okay, great shatter, but what else to follow up? May dead, Symmetra dead. With only Reinhardt and Lucio. Can't do too much.
This is getting out of hand because SPG used a lot of ultimates, but they just lost. And JNGK also has that Graviton Surge to maybe even not just they already took the lead, but their eyes are towards full capping this map here.
46 seconds. You can also just keep them outside with the Graviton if you have the right pull. Spin that early on. May hits a shot.
Maybe this is their time to stabilize, but the Graviton Surge is there available.
Not going to use it for this fight, as we are ticking down to the last 30 seconds.
Probably rightfully so, because they know that JNGK knows that the only one team fight win is going to be enough for them to secure that win, because they have 30 meters. They have a 30-meter buffer, and 10 seconds remaining means that it's going to be overtime before the bot even tries to push. So one fight is all they need.
We'll see. JNGK gets kind of close. Graviton, an overclock immediately popped. Nothing really following up with the kill, as there are barriers with the Matrix available. Okay, SPG certainly doing a lot more work from that fight.
Great wall from AD or Spin.
One blade.
Spin has the blade, probably wants to hold it. Like you said, G-Clef.
Continuing the push. Okay, SPG getting closer over time.
JNGK hands sweaty now because they know that key ultimates from the side of SPG is coming. They have potentially the Earth Shatter, the Sound Barrier, and Blizzard online. So Spin has to be the hero here.
Can you be the hero? Or is it going to be SPG closing the match here? Is that blade?
The Dragon Blade
took too much damage! And the Blizzard is
selling them out! 4 meters!
The pushing is still happening! Okay,
the contestant's there!
Plus the Lucio, but can they actually do
Earth Shatter doesn't do much!
Zarya's gone, and can you really have that much pressure?
I think SPG can do it!
Okay,
SPG might be able to do it!
Gone!
They did it!
Touch! And SPG! That's 3 map points.
That is going to be the end. SPG, despite JNGK looking so much up ahead, they had 30 meters and they had a 30-meter lead in the last 20 seconds of the match. They had the ultimates, but I think what was really important there is that when overtime first started, AID's barrier there, AID's ultimate was really crucial because it was a good Graviton Surge by pressure. However, the Photon Barrier was perfect because it divided the damage that SPG was taking, and it was enough because both the supports were alive in that fight. It divided enough and negated enough damage for the supports of SPG to keep everyone alive. And being in overtime, it meant that they had the opportunity. They had the Blizzard coming up, they had the Earth Shatter coming up, they had the Sound Barrier coming up, so it bought them enough time for key tools to come up, and then they used them. Yes, our Spin had that Dragon Blade up. However, it was not enough because Blizzard, when you're defending your point, when you're defending your territory, it's going to be even though with the Dragon Blade Spin, it's going to zone him off.
Yeah, Shimada was not trained to withstand the Blizzard for that long of a time. Plus, the blade was out there, but not enough tools from the entire team to keep him alive. And there was just way too much pressure, and Genji can do so much magic when there are a lot of members scattered around. But when you have the Reinhardt, so many members of SPG just clumped up together sometimes, and the immediate focus was on that Spint Genji. He could have died at that moment, was barely able to survive over the wall with some HP left. Can't really contest too much, as that was a beautiful ending to the match with SPG. I mean, Milgaru is the player of the game. I mean, this ball was certainly great, but Orisa and plus the Reinhardt at the end, some great material.
Yeah, I mean, everyone on the side of the SPG did very well, and especially I wanted to like credit Aid on the very last moment of Colosseo, but Milgaru was the consistent performer here. Like you mentioned, G-Clef, his signature or hero is the ball, is the Wrecking Ball. However, we've seen that he is not just proficient on the Wrecking Ball as well, but also on the Orisa, the Reinhardt. And this was Milgaru was a headache for JNGK the entire time, because yes, JNGK probably wanted to counter. There were some times where JNGK wanted to counter the ball, like maybe they brought the Sombra, maybe they brought something else, but every time Milgaru was there to counter whatever JNGK had, because he had that choice of heroes on his list of cards.
Some real great moments from Reinhardt, actually. Even actually had a lot of great ults too, along with the pair up with teammates. And Milgaru certainly the player of the match material, as we're focusing on the ball, but I think he actually played really well on the Reinhardt too.
Exactly. And also this is going to be really, really important, not only for this match, but on the future match as well. Because remember, we are seeing increasing a lot of Zaryas, but like in a traditional matchup, a Reinhardt is good against the Zarya, and a Reinhardt composition also works against the Zarya. So remember, like previously we said that it was a rock, paper, scissors, but we have one more player, our fourth party on the field, and this is going to be very interesting. We might have a Korean London Spitfire in the Contenders Korea.
Who said Reinhardt's not really the meta? As long as you can have that much of a teamwork and team comp, well, you can make the miracle happen, and that will actually put SPG on top for now for Group B here, as we have one more Group B match coming up next, as Dreamers versus Euphoria. Let's see what happens in our next match.